Hello! I am so sorry it's been so long. This summer is just taking off, and I know we're already in August, so it'll be fall up here in the UP before we know it. But this has been such an eventful summer, and it's been so amazing. And unfortunately, I've had to take a step back. I think I've been pretty consistent for the most part on content, but I have had to take a step back because I am utterly exhausted. I'm very happy exhausted. So I promised forever ago that I was going to film a first trimester Q&A. So that is what we're going to do. I'm gonna get my questions up. So we are currently 17 weeks. There. 17 weeks. I feel like I've officially popped. Some things that I want to talk about, but we'll just save that for the second trimester Q&A because this one's been a doozy. I mean, I am thankful that it hasn't been absolutely awful. I've heard some horror stories with pregnancy, and mine has been pretty great compared to those. But it was much more intense than my previous pregnancy with my daughter Evelyn. So life has been crazy. Let me give you a quick life update. So if you are on my personal Facebook or if you've seen my post on my business Facebook, then you know that I have started collaborating with the travel bureau up here, Visit QAnon. That has been an amazing experience. I've posted my first article on their website, and I am currently working on quite a few more. And then through them, I have been connected to a big inspiration of mine, Drew Mason. And he came out through Pure Michigan to photograph us. They were looking for families to come take pictures of. And a lot of the times they have a hard time finding models. So it was pretty awesome when Visit QAnon reached out to me and said that they need somebody. Would I be interested? And we were like, for sure we'd be interested. My husband took off the rest of the half day of work. So like he went in the morning and we did the hike. It was an intense hike. It was 6 miles. The trail itself was fairly easy. But I was very surprised Evelyn hiked 5 of those 6 miles. I do have the windows open, so I feel like we're gonna have to take quite a few breaks as people start coming home from work. So my work life has picked up. Thus, unfortunately, my stay-at-home mom life has started to decline. Our house is trashed. Well, it's not trashed, but it is hard for me to keep up with right now. I don't want to talk too much about second trimester, but I have been more exhausted this pregnancy than previously, so I'm having a hard time keeping up with our cleaning schedules, which is already fairly simple in and of itself. We aren't die-hard minimalists, but we've gotten to the point where cleanup was fairly simple for us. Tidying and like the monthly chores and stuff like that, it was all very simple. Charlie and I have this amazing routine where I wash the laundry, he folds and puts it away. I load the dishwasher and hand wash the dishes, he puts them away. And for those of you that follow Melina Cicciati, she closes the kitchen. That is something I absolutely loved, and so now we do that. But just some of those things I can only do a few now in a day. It has been very hard, very difficult to get it all done in a week. My mom came up and I was finally able to deep clean the kitchen, deep clean the bathroom. I did some things that have been just sitting around and waiting. Like our daughter's room is getting quite messy, and that needs a good purge. Okay, but enough life catch up. Let's get to the Q&A. So I put a poll on Instagram, asked everybody to ask some questions about this pregnancy. So first question was it planned? And yes, this was a planned pregnancy. I'm not going to dive too much into it, but if you do follow us, then you know that I posted about our miscarriage back in March, and thankfully we were blessed with this rainbow baby the following month. So this baby was planned, as was the miscarriage baby, and we are happy that this is healthy and smooth so far. How long were you trying? So this is difficult. As I said, that it was a month after our miscarriage baby that we were able to have this baby. The miscarriage baby took 4 months. So I don't know if we like add all those up, 4 months for the miscarriage, then I had a month in between to heal, and then our baby. So I guess 6 months or 1 month, whichever. How are you feeling compared to pregnancy number 1? This one, I had a lot of questions on this one. So like I said, this one's been a doozy. My pregnancy with Evelyn was absolutely amazing. I never had any of the symptoms that everyone always has. I didn't have any of the typical symptoms either. I had no morning sickness. I know I was tired, but I was also going to school, so I don't think I feel like I was not nearly as exhausted as this pregnancy. I don't think I took a single nap with my first pregnancy, and this pregnancy I couldn't. In the first trimester, I could not finish a day without taking a nap. I had my 4 o'clock nap every single day. It wasn't major morning sickness because I've had friends who've had worse, but there were 2 weeks where one of those weeks I was completely nauseous. I knew I threw up. I think it was week 6. The very first day of week 6, I threw up. And I was at a friend's house, and that was very hard to keep secret. We blamed it on like stress or something from commuting down from our house to their house, which is 9 hours away. But I'm pretty sure that was morning sickness. I mean, maybe stress was in it a little bit, but I think it was mostly morning sickness because I was just nauseous like clockwork. By 9 o'clock every single day, I would be nauseous if I was not already in bed sleeping. So for the first trimester, I was in bed reading my book and getting ready to go to sleep by 8 o'clock. And I was taking my 4 o'clock nap. So that shows how tired I was. And I think a lot of the morning sickness had to do with not being able to decide what I wanted to eat. Or it could have also been the stress of having to keep the secret because we were only 6 weeks and that is when we lost our previous baby. So I didn't want to tell everybody while I was down there. And it was hard navigating, like if they wanted me to ask me if I wanted a glass of wine with dinner or something, and that was a little difficult. So I feel like it was a mixture there because as soon as I got home, I had this whole week of rest and I really listened to my body and ate what my body wanted, which was a lot of starchy foods. Like I wanted chips, I wanted the organic Cheetos, I wanted rice, I wanted a lot of Asian food. We had bok choy, I wanted dumplings, soba noodles. Pretty sure I lived off of soba noodles for 3 days straight. And then there was, hold on, let me see if we talk about this. Okay, so I'm going to say this is all goes into the feeling compared to pregnancy number 1. So pregnancy number 1, if you watched our testing old wives' tales for gender, with my first pregnancy, I craved a lot of sweets. I was constantly eating little chocolate chips. I would keep those in the freezer and have a couple every day. And I wanted lots and lots of fruit. I also had like piece of crackers for my snacks and peanut butter on my crackers. And this pregnancy, like I said, has been very starchy and very salty. I say all the time that this baby has my husband's food palate, which sucks because a lot of times I can't eat what I want to eat. I have not been able to eat Brussels sprouts this pregnancy. I have not been able to have my salads. I have not been able to have my smoothies. So I feel like it's a constant battle with what I thought I needed to do to be healthy up until this point. It's funny how kids can really teach you about life without meaning to. So there was, the reason I bring that up is there was one night that Charlie made steak and potatoes, and that was the one thing that brought me out of my morning sickness. that's all I wanted. Like, I was able to eat a small portion that night, and I kept eating just small portions until it was gone. And after that, I felt so much better. So I don't know what it was. I really wanted this to be a full vegan pregnancy, and that is not happening. This baby has wanted steak. They have wanted pork cutlets. We had tonkatsu, which was amazing. And then today, I wanted dumplings and I wanted my soba noodles, but I didn't have those, so I had ramen. Plans for the nursery. So we don't have any specific plans for the nursery right now. I feel like I learned a lot after having Evelyn, and I know we wanted to have a minimalist life. We didn't want a whole bunch of baby stuff. We didn't want a whole bunch of baby clothes. We didn't want a whole bunch of everything in this mess and clutter. And I'd say for the most part, we did very well. There were a few things that I didn't get, whether people chose to gift alternative ideas or that we just simply couldn't afford it, and we didn't put it on the registry at all because we were thinking that we were going to be able to buy it and we couldn't. So thankfully I have saved a lot of it and I will be able to reuse everything. And then I kept capsule wardrobes of gender neutral stuff that we will be able to reuse, which will be great. But as for the nursery itself, they will be sharing a room. It is still going to be woodland themed. I'm not sure if I'm going to do exactly what we did with the previous house where I had the mountain mural, or if we're going to do something new. I'm really obsessed with nostalgic camping rooms right now for some reason. And so I've been thinking about adding elements of that in. I know I want to put in wainscoting on one of the walls and leave that green, and the rest I want to paint white because the lighting is very cool in there and it actually hurts my eyes. So I want to warm it up with a nice warm white. And then we will get them a bunk bed, and it's going to be kind of a Montessori bed in a way for the baby, where Evelyn will be sleeping on the top bunk, and then we'll have a mattress on the floor for the baby when the baby is no longer sleeping in our room. I think we will be able to put the crib up to the higher setting and leave it next to my bed, and that can work as my co-sleeper. So we're going to test that out and try that. And then that's where the baby will sleep. Evelyn slept in our room up until 4 months, I think, and then she really needed to be put in her own room to start sleeping through the night again. So we will see what this baby decides to do. If they need to co-sleep for longer, they will co-sleep for longer. What did you do to prepare your body for pregnancy? So in October or November, I began taking prenatal vitamins. I, since moving here, had slacked on working out regularly, so I started doing that again. I got some lighter weights, and I started doing Grow with Joe videos. And at that time, I would be doing the Grow with Joe videos in the morning and my Yoga with Adriene videos at night. After my miscarriage, I just did strictly yoga with Adriene. That was very healing for me, and it helped during that slow time. And then with the first trimester, like I said, I was very exhausted. I could maybe squeeze in a Grow with Joe video, but it took a lot of effort, so I mostly stuck to walks if I could get them in, and Yoga with Adriene videos. Now we are doing at least 2 miles a day. That 6-mile hike with Pure Michigan was the longest I've done so far. Normally I'm exhausted by 3 or 4 miles. So my vitamins, I was working out, and I started to really monitor what I was eating. So I eat a predominantly plant-based diet, but I was starting to eat more nutrients for pregnancy. So I was eating more protein-based plants. I was eating dates, like with peanut butter and the hemp seeds. My smoothies, my juices, I was doing green juices, and just really nutrient-dense foods. Next question. First trimester anxiety after miscarriage. It's hard to say. I don't think so. At least it didn't dominate my thoughts. So honestly, after the miscarriage and after my healing period, I really began to trust my body and know that my body knew what was best and what it needs to do. So there were a lot of times, one of my biggest fears, and it wasn't necessarily miscarriage related, but it was that, like, how am I going to love both my child, this new baby, and my firstborn? And I know a lot of parents have that thought when they're adding kids to their family. And I have to say, what helped the most was talking to Evelyn about it. With the miscarriage baby, she said, like, she didn't want me to be pregnant. She didn't want me to have a baby. She didn't want to be a big sister. And I would tell her that I have all of these fears too about it. Like, how am I going to play with you both? How am I going to love you both? And I think that helped us both work through it. So by the time I was pregnant again, she is so excited. She gives the baby kisses. She likes to pretend play with the baby already. She likes to talk about everything she's going to do, all her toys that she's going to share. And so I think that helped a lot with the anxiety after that. Other than that, I mostly just listened to my body. If anything started to hurt, I stopped what I was doing. I rested. I drank plenty of water. Again, when I could, I ate as nutritious as possible. And I just let my body do its thing. If it was going to happen again, it was going to happen again. And so far it hasn't, and we are so happy. Last question is, when is your due date? And I'm sorry, this is probably going to sound so weird, but we are not giving that out. I am trying to avoid the whole "is baby here yet" in the last 2 weeks, so we aren't giving that out. Baby will be here in January sometime. We are hoping to be able to go have Christmas with family, but that might not be an option this year because baby will be here within a couple weeks of January, within a couple weeks of the new year. And if they come earlier, they come earlier. So yeah, I'm actually not giving that out. That is my boundary this pregnancy, because I don't want to have to tell everybody that the baby is still not here. And when things happen, things will happen. If people are going to come up here to visit for the baby, then they can kind of plan around that time and around how I'm feeling, and we will talk about that then. But for the most part, I just want a healthy pregnancy, and I don't want due date to be something we are thinking about. So yeah, I hope I answered all of your first trimester questions. If not, be sure to leave them in the comments below and I will get to them. I am going to do a second trimester Q&A, so since I am in the second trimester, feel free to leave those questions down below as well. We still have a couple weeks left. I think 25 weeks is when third trimester starts, so I will do that in a couple weeks from now. But I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I answered all of your questions. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, to follow our journey through pregnancy number 2, or pregnancy number 3, baby number 2, and life in the UP. I'm not quite sure how to go about this pregnancy with, like, our channel is about travel, so if you have any video requests, I'd love to hear from you guys. I get plenty in my email and I keep a list going. So feel free to drop those in my contact page on my website or leave them down below. Like, how am I backpacking with Evelyn and this baby? Maybe I can do a video on that. I know we will be camping in a few days, so I can talk about things that I am preparing for camping while pregnant. Just let me know. And I will see you guys next time.
Like you said, a human being, I want to make you take that chance. Things have been different.